Welcome back to Undisturbed. This is your host, Kyle Dangler. This podcast is presented by Loud Creative Works. Today we're going to have on undrafted free agent that signed with the New York Jets, defensive end Bryce Huff. Now, Bryce played at University of Memphis along with Brady White, who we talked to during the season last October, November, around there during the bye week. Bryce, as I just said, wasn't picked in the first 7 rounds of the draft. That took place at the end of April, but now he's a Jet. Going to be talking to him about just the process of being a Jet, what it's like, how he's been able to cope with the coronavirus, and how he's been able to still train, and just talking about what he's looking forward to at his time with the Jets when he gets to come to Florham Park and get ready to work at the training facility. What's going on, Bryce?
Nothing much.
How's it going?
It's going good. Just been at the house, under lockdown, just working out and stuff.
Yep. If you're ready to get going, we could just get the podcast underway.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
First question I wanted to ask you was, a lot of people, I'm sure are asking you, about the draft and whatnot, and, it's probably, everyone's asking you about that, and it's probably getting tiring. So I just wanted to, kind of, flip the switch. Just what's been going on with you in terms of, being on the Jets now, what's it been like, getting to, meet some of the guys, probably virtually, texting, phone call, whatnot, FaceTime, the coaches, rather than talking about the draft, just what's been going on lately with the Jets.
We've just been doing the Microsoft meetings, the group chats and stuff like that. We got on a rookie meeting the other day, and all the guys introduced themselves, talked about where they played high school ball and where they played college, and a little bit about themselves. And I had meetings with my coach a couple days ago. I've just been looking at the virtual meetings that they've been having and stuff, and just learning what I can until we really go full speed here coming up this week.
Now, when do you come to Florham Park? I know you probably would have been here for rookie minicamp this month, but when do you have any date that you're set to come out to New Jersey and be in Florham Park with the guys?
I'm not really sure yet because of all the virus stuff.
Yeah.
New York and New Jersey have been hit really hard with everything. So I guess we're just gonna wait and see what happens with the city as a whole, as far as opening up and like the restrictions that they have on gatherings of a certain limit and stuff like that. So whenever that gets lifted, whenever the coaches call me and tell me it's time to come, that's when I'm gonna come. But as of now, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. For you, I'm sure, you like you said, you're trying to work out the best you can. What's been going on in terms of, do you have weights at the house? Is it more of just, bands and kind of stuff, given, not being able to go to, a gym with, a lot of weights? What's it been like trying to keep in shape at the same time with a limited amount of resources?
Well, I stay in Alabama. Down south, the virus hasn't been as hard or as bad as it was up north. So the gyms are starting to open back up. I got some D-line coaches out here that like to put in some work with me. I have a gym that I can go to by myself, and a training facility that's actually open not too far from my house. Cool. So I've had a good bit of resources that I've been able to take advantage of. So I've been blessed for real.
Yeah, just, up here, I'm sure some of the guys that, the local guys, just because I know a lot of the Jets live in the area, just because, we're from Florham Park, and, I'm sure they're not having the same resources that you, so that's kind of great that you're able to get that. For you, though, I wanted to ask you, at Memphis, Brady White, your former QB at Memphis, was on the show, I think, right before you guys played SMU last year. I think you guys had a bye between games. It was the week before that big Saturday night game on primetime. But for you, being at Memphis, he talked a lot about the culture there. For you, what was your experience like there, just in terms of the culture, and giving a different perspective from the defensive side rather than from the QB spot?
I feel like the culture at Memphis has really evolved in terms of how hard we work. When I came in, it was all about the grind and all about being about your work and getting things done. And I feel like over the course of the 4 years that I was there, I feel like we really turned up at the program as far as turn up how hard we work in the weight room when it comes to conditioning, how focused we are on meetings and things like that. But on the defensive side, I feel like the only difference would be like the height behind it. Memphis has always been known for an explosive offense and having explosive playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. But when it comes to defense, I feel like we've been really slept on. So I feel like I've taken pride in trying to lead the defense to make a name for ourselves and really go out and shut some teams down. So, yeah.
And for you, over the 4 years, I wanted to ask you, what do you think you evolved in the most? I'm sure, even about your recruiting, just looking up, some of the news, you were originally committed to a different college, coming to Memphis with Coach Norvell. But for you, coming in as a young freshman, probably, not sure what was going to happen, probably being anxious or whatnot. What do you think you improved on looking back on the past 4 years at your time in college?
As far as like me as a person, or just like on the field?
I mean both. I mean, just I'm sure being a teenager and now being all grown up, being a profession, that also, and on the field.
I got you. So, I mean, as a person, I feel like I just really get more confidence in my abilities. Just going about my work, just knowing that, believing in myself, and knowing that I can achieve whatever I put my mind to. Memphis, and just learning. I learned a lot from Coach Neville as far as accountability. Just holding, as long as you hold yourself accountable and doing things right, when people are and when they aren't looking at you, it's how you get things done and really become successful. And then on the field, I feel like I just became like stronger, faster, more explosive, and once again more confident in my abilities over my time at Memphis. And I don't know, I just feel more. I feel like that confidence is really what set that is what really what the difference was between my freshman and my senior year.
Awesome. For you too, I wanted to ask you, coming into the league, just talking about what you improved in the past 4 years, looking, into the future, the next 4 years, what is something or some, kind of technique or kind of skill you're looking to enhance, coming into the league and, trying to make a name for yourself?
I feel like just honing in on my pass rushing moves. I have a solid arsenal of moves, but because of the scheme I played in, I wasn't able to fully show that because we were kind of locked into roles and things we had to get done for the scheme versus a free reign on offensive tackle. So I'm sure I'll have a lot more freedom when it comes to pass rushing with the Jets, and I'll be able to show what I can do more. But I'm looking towards learning from the guys above me that have worked a lot of pass rush moves and have produced in the past, and just learning what I can and taking everything I can from these coaches and learning as much as possible. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting on campus and just getting to work.
Serious question for you: have you ever trained with knives, just like some of the other defensive linemen?
No, I haven't. I usually just do pad work and hand work with the coach. But no, I haven't trained with knives.
No, that was more of a joke, but you never know just what some of the guys trying to hone on the technique. But for you, how do you? We've talked to some other guys, on the defensive line position, and everyone goes about it a different way. For you, I wanted to ask you, obviously, being explosive is something more in the weight room, and just trying to time the snap and whatnot. But your hand movements, I wanted to ask you, how much time do you put into mimicking your hand movements, trying to make sure you have the technique down right, and just making sure that you know what move you're going to present on each snap? I mean, how much time do you put into that aspect of your game?
I feel like I have pretty good hands, but when it comes to knowing like when to shoot my hands and when I'm going to be looking to work a move on the line, when it comes to watching film and how like where their hands sit, if they have wide hands or narrow hands, or what time in the rush do they like to shoot their hands? Whether it's at the top of the rush, do they shoot them early? How good are they at resetting their hands and things like that? So there's a good bit that goes into it, but I feel like for the most part, knowing what move you're going to set up just depends on. I mean, knowing what move you're going to work really depends on like what you set it up with. So,
awesome. Yeah. For you too, being a defensive lineman, a lot of guys are, kind of more of a pass rusher, more of a run stopper, combo. What do you think is your best attribute just in terms of, I'm sure, we can look at, the sack numbers, we can look at the, tackle numbers, tackles for loss, whatnot. But, coming from you, I wanted to know, what do you think your best attribute just, in the game of football?
I'd say my relentless motor. Passing in the pass hammer game, I like to chase. I can chase running backs down from the backside. I can beat them to the edge. I can maintain leverage on an edge, and at the same time, I can get after the quarterback. I can work any tackle. It's just a matter of how bad you want it in my mind. So I feel like I have an edge on players in the running and pass rushing game.
For you too, just some of the other guys from Memphis, that got drafted this year, signed as undrafted free agents also. For you, I mean, how cool is it to just see some of your teammates, also, going into the league at the same time as you? Because, a lot of other colleges, besides, Alabama, Clemson, those kind of colleges, there's a bunch going each year. But for you guys, it's got to be pretty special to, have a few other guys going into the league as well, just to, I'm sure reassure yourself and just, be able to talk to them about some stuff. Since you already have that bond with them at Memphis, is that pretty cool to you, just seeing that?
Definitely, it's cool seeing guys make it, especially after working with them all these years and getting better as a team, and then making this transition with those guys. I just want to see all of them succeed, and I'm sure all of them will, because they all know how to work, and we've all worked for the past couple of years. So it is pretty cool having those guys there to be able to talk to and kind of relate with. So yeah, that has been a pretty cool experience. I'm sure a lot more guys are gonna come out in the draft next year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how everything starts to pan out with Memphis and the NFL.
Yeah, I know. We were waiting to see if Brady, just because, knowing him and being able to talk to him off the air too, we were kind of hoping, seeing what he was going to do. But, he went back. So, wishing him the best of luck too. But for you, I wanted to ask you also, coming into the league and whatnot, your job is to obviously sack the quarterback, get after the quarterback. Do you have a passion to hate quarterbacks, to kind of drive your motor, just knowing that they have the ball and whatnot? Is that something that you try to feed off of the adrenaline, knowing that that's your job? I mean, do you have a passion for them, just in terms of getting after them?
Yeah, I definitely have a passion for quarterback, but I feel like most of my hate comes from the lineman. Like, just having a lineman in front of you, I don't know. I'm just the type of dude that does not like offensive linemen. I don't know. But when it comes to, I definitely have a passion for getting out to the quarterback and making that big play for the team, putting us in a good position to set up the offense for a good drive and things like that. So yeah, it just comes down to me wanting to win more than anything. I hate to lose and I love to win. So that kind of plays into my passion for the team, and just knowing in the back of my mind, like, these guys have been busting their butts. I was watching the meeting. McClendon, he's been in the league for a long time. He said it's about time for him to win the Super Bowl. So just seeing him talk about that, it kind of fires me up, knowing that those guys have been putting in that work, and I can come in and help. I can come in and help get that ring with those guys. I feel like the Jets are kind of slept on as far as Super Bowl contingency, or like competing for the Super Bowl. So I feel like I can come in and make an impact, and that's what really just drives me at this point. So when I go out there on the field and it's time for me to go out there and make a play for the team, that's what's going to be in the back of my head, driving me to the quarterback.
So, you and me both, my man. We've, I've been waiting also for, the Jets to, kind of, not be slept on, just in terms of the talent and everything, and, put it all together. For you, though, it's obviously been a short time. Haven't been able to see them in person, but being able to talk to some of the guys, you mentioned the coaches. How do you feel the culture is, just in terms of, obviously having the culture at Memphis the past 4 years, going into the Jets locker room, off the field? How do you think you're going to be able to transition into, being accustomed to that culture, obviously NFL culture, and just, being with a bunch of new guys that, you're not normally accustomed to being with?
I feel like it's going to be kind of the same as college. I'm the type of guy that comes in and gets work done, and then off the field, I'm basically, everything I do off the field kind of revolves around my work. I wasn't much of a partier in college, and I know I'm not going to be partying whatsoever when I get to the NFL, especially during the season. I'm just going to be off the field. I'm just going to go home and just be chilling for the most part. I'm going to have my friends on the team or whatever, I'm sure. But for the most part, I'll probably just be chilling in my house or my spot, wherever I am in New York. But yeah, I feel like that transition is going to be about the same as college as far as off the field goes.
You and me both. town over from the facility, a lot of the guys usually go out to the bars there, whatnot. So obviously, that's accessible to you guys. But it's awesome to hear how, the work is number one priority. You see some guys come into the league, mostly the guys in the first round, second round, whatnot, that just don't take it as seriously just because they don't have to because they think they have the automatic spot. So that's cool to see. Your perspective on things.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of how it is. History has shown like guys that go in the first round kind of tend to some guys that go in the first round kind of tend to think they haven't made it, and they go in with it's not as much motivation. But some guys that get drafted in the first round keep that same fire, that same intensity, that same work ethic. So it is what it is. It just depends on from person to person, how they are. But I feel like that, like guys that go later or go on draft definitely have more of a chip on their shoulders. Yeah.
For sure.
That's how I see it. I went undrafted, so I have something to prove. All the teams that passed up on me, people that all the scouts and things that doubted me, my abilities, it's all gonna come. It's all gonna get proven wrong here in the next couple months. So
dope. For you too, I wanted to ask you just off air. You said you've never really been to New York, New Jersey. What's one thing you're looking to see or do off the field, if you have anything, just in terms of being around the city, being around New York and New Jersey? Is there anything that you're looking forward to doing off the field?
Probably eating. I heard a lot about the food up there. I know some people that actually are from New York. I got some family up there. They always talk about how good the food is. Y'all got all kinds of food up there. And then some other people I know they're talking about like y'all have all kinds of parks, like really cool like parks. Like I heard about a park that used to be a train station or something like that I might go see. But other than that, I'm not really sure what's up there. I know Times Square's up there too, so I'll probably go check that out. But
what is your favorite kind of food if you had to choose?
Oh, that's a hard one. I eat everything. If I had to pick one, I'll probably say probably sushi.
Okay. Because where you're going up here in Florham Park, it's big just in terms of Italian food. They're big Italian around the area, so if you like that, you'll be good. And sushi too. I'm sure you and your guys can go to Morristown, the town over. They have a lot of sushi places too. But you won't be going empty-handed just with the food up here. For you though, I mean, what's it been like just in terms of your family's atmosphere? I'm sure they're excited for you. I know your brother played in college as well. But going to the next level, what's it been like just with you and your family? Talking about it. Just reminiscing on the old memories, and still being at home with them. It's got to be pretty cool just to be a professional athlete in the family, and just to see how excited they were for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a cool experience. Unfortunately, because of this quarantine, we've been locked down, but at the same time, it's been a blessing being able to spend time with my family.
Probably still feels like high school.
And how, looking back on things and how I started playing football at 4 years old, and I've been playing all these years, and I'm finally in the NFL. It's been a blessing just to make it this far, but I have a lot further to go. I know that, they know that, so they've still been like motivating me and keeping me on my toes as far as like continuing to work and knowing like this is only the beginning as far as my career goes. So
now, were you always a defensive lineman? I mean, what were you growing up? Because you see a lot of guys go to the line as they get older and whatnot. Were you always a lineman? Were you playing other positions? I mean, what was that like?
Yeah, I was a lineman from like four years old. A D lineman from 4 years old all the way up until like.
Oh, so you're a true blood defensive lineman.
Yeah, I was kind of a chubby kid, so I played D line from like 4 years old all the way to like middle school, and I started leaning out a little bit in middle school. So I played like linebacker and running back. And in high school, I was on like scout team my freshman and sophomore year, so I was playing offensive lineman my freshman year on the scout team, and then sophomore year I got switched to D line. I started playing more on varsity, so. Yeah, I've been in the D-line edge my whole life pretty much, especially in high school. I played after like when it came to my sophomore year, I was really in edge all the way sophomore to senior year, and then the senior year I played middle linebacker and edge. So I've been a defensive player for the most part.
For you too, I just wanted to ask you one final question before we get into a few wrap up questions. For you coming into the season, I know you mentioned being hungry, having a chip on your shoulder. But if there was one thing you had to pick out just in terms of your goals and your achievements you're trying to achieve, what's the one thing that is at the top of your list that you're very anxious to achieve this year?
I'm very anxious to. I don't really know. But when it comes to being anxious, besides winning a Super Bowl, like that's something I can think of. Like winning, like I know the guys like they were sort of making the playoffs last year, so I'm sure all of them are hungry, have a chip on their shoulder, and at the same time, I'm hungry, have a chip on my shoulder to get there with them and contribute to get there with them. So just making it to the playoffs and competing for a Super Bowl, and then we make it to Super Bowl, winning it, So I know a lot of people like, oh, the Jets in Super Bowl, but no, it's possible. Every team has the same opportunity, so. As long as we take it and win every day, like one of my coaches said before, he was like, if you take every rep, you break down your days into hours, break down those hours into minutes, and you win every minute. Like every time every minute that you're doing something, if you're doing it with a winning mentality, and every hour you're doing it with a winning mentality, every day winning mentality. When it comes to game day, you take it a game at a time, and you just win every day. You win every day, and those winning days build up to win the season. So just taking it a step at a time and hopefully coming out on top.
For sure. Wanted to ask you a few, quick, wrap up questions. They're rapid fire. They're easy, little questions for you. First one is, have you made your family turn into Jet fans yet?
Yeah, they're all automatically Jet fans.
They're all gangrene now.
We really had an NFL team like growing up, but now that I'm on the Jets, they're definitely Jets fans.
Who was one player, two players, a few guys that you looked up to, growing up playing football?
Clay Matthews, Ray Lewis. Those are the ones I think of when I was like still a kid growing up. Clay Matthews, Ray Lewis. Probably Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Yeah.
For you, what do you think's better just in terms of the food? I know you haven't had it up here yet, but just based on, everyone's been saying, including your family, do you think you'll like northern food better than the food that you have down south?
Some certain types of food. I feel like when it comes to like healthier food, the north is definitely going to be winning on that side. Because down south is just a bunch of soul food, like fried food. So I pretty much just cook at home every day. So yeah. But when it comes to soul food and stuff, the south is definitely winning.
Awesome. What is the one kind of cheat meal, go to, dessert, whatnot, that you always look forward to? I mean, is there one thing that you really enjoy, just in terms of maybe it's not the healthiest, but you just can't get enough of it?
I either say pizza or ice cream.
Okay. For you, what's been the best part so far of being a Jet? Obviously, you haven't been there or whatnot, but has there been anything cool that's happened yet, just in terms of being with them virtually?
I would just say like having an NFL playbook and being able to go in there and learn and study and watch film. Because I used to see like all the time like Ray Lewis never put down his playbook. He never put down his film. So like having that film here and being able to like study and get ready for the games the same way the guys I looked up to used to do. That's kind of cool.
Do you have any Jet gear yet?
I do not.
Okay. For you, how quickly, did you get the playbook, just in terms of, did they have to ship it to you? Was it, virtually through email? What was that like?
Like after all of our contracts got done or whatever, then we got our playbooks and our iPads and stuff to watch film with. So that's what we've been doing. Yeah.
Awesome. For you, wanted to ask you, what was your favorite memory at Memphis on the field and then off the field as well?
So my favorite memory on the field would have to be winning the championship with my guys.
Okay.
off the field.
I know you weren't much of a partier, but I mean, was there anything, maybe in the, I'm sure, you were a fan of the classroom and whatnot.
I'd probably just spending time with my teammates. We always have a good time. Like, even if we weren't partying, like, we would just be chilling, like, having, like, talking, laughing all the time. So, yeah, I guess just spending time with my guys.
Who was your favorite or, most closest teammate at Memphis, just in terms of your bond with them?
Ooh, that's just tough one. Probably just the guys in the D-line room. We probably spent the most time together, so probably my D-lineman.
And final question for you, as we wrap up, I wanted to ask you, being a Jet, obviously being a Jet now, does it feel surreal yet for you, just in terms of, obviously not being there yet, but does it feel like you're a Jet yet, or is it still kind of shocking and, it doesn't feel like it yet just because you're still at home?
No, I'm definitely a Jet. Yeah, it's getting green from here on out. It's official. So I'm all in with the team. I'm all in with these coaches and learning these plays and just working hard. I've been training and conditioning and lifting and doing my drills with that same mentality. Like I'm at the facility being evaluated by the coaches. So it's that same intensity. I've been expecting to be in the NFL for a long time now. So it's what I've been preparing for. It's what I've been praying for. So now that it's here, I'm just ready to get going and ready to show what I can do.
Awesome. Great hearing from you, Bryce. Obviously, wish you the best of luck. Stay safe down there. It's awesome to hear that, you guys have the gym and stuff down there, up here by the training facility. I can promise you that nothing is open around here. So wish you the best of luck down there. It's great to hear you get the work in, you get the playbook and whatnot, and, wish you all the luck on and off the field in the future, and, just gangrene for life.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Bryce.
All right, bro.
That was Bryce Huff, New York Jets defensive end. Excited to see him in the summer training camp, whatnot, getting underway within the next few months, and then preseason, and then obviously the regular season in September. Thanks for Bryce for coming on. Thanks for the Jets, just in terms of allowing Bryce to come on. Wish Bryce the best of luck. Wish Memphis the best of luck. All them guys too. Second Memphis guy we've had on. Second Jet we've had on. We had David Fales on back in last summer, but he was not a Jet yet. He was still on the Lions. So first Jet that we've been able to talk Jet and gangrene stuff about. Best of luck to Bryce, the Jets, everyone, and just thanks for listening, everyone. And remember, stay safe out there during all this pandemic craziness, and have a good one. And thanks, like, subscribe, and we thank you for all the support and whatnot. And just take care.